reviewing old trailers. Where Eagles Dare is a 1968 World War II action film, and for this episode of Rot we're going to be taking a look at its original theatrical trailer, all the way back from the 60s.
Our job is to get inside there and get him out as soon as possible.
Major Bergholder, my adjutant.
Before we get started, I just want to say that if you haven't seen Where Eagles Dare already, you should definitely add it to your watch list. It's an awesome action film, a really good Saturday night in movie. There's a lot of action that's mostly done practically with pyrotechnics and squibs. It's a funny old classic where you get to watch Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton shoot a bunch of Nazis up with MP40s. But for now, I'm only reviewing the trailer. That's what today's all about. We are here to investigate what weird promotional trends were lurking about in 1960s film industry. It's an MGM produced film. It stars Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood, which were two huge names at the time. A huge British star, a huge American star, acting side by side on screen. Both Eastwood and Burton had their own stunt doubles, who filled in for so much of the action scenes that Eastwood and Burton reportedly dubbed the film Where Doubles Dare. If Wikipedia is to be believed, Eastwood received a salary of $800,000 while Burton received $1.2 million. Clint Eastwood's agent said it would be interesting for him to star alongside a senior actor, and they got along very well on set apparently. Richard Burton said that he decided to do the picture because his two stepsons at the time said that they were sick of him doing films that they weren't allowed to see, or films where he was killed. They wanted to see him kill people instead, and they got what they fucking asked for with this film. But that's enough idle chit chat, Batcho. We need to get on with this trailer review. You're first shown the setting of the film in the Austrian Alps. It's such a good setting. It's all shot on location. That's a real Austrian castle.
Here he is, at the Schloss Adler, the Castle of the Eagles.
I just find those castles that the Nazis occupied in the mountains in World War II just so interesting and cool. They have loads of mythology to them, they're really ominous. The trailer's just saying, hey, look at all these lovely locations, come on an adventure with us, with Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton. The snowy mountains, a secret mission.
Our job is to get inside there and get him out as soon as possible.
You get a pretty cool shot of them jumping out of a plane. Looks way more believable than whatever Black Widow was doing in her latest film. It is possible to make things look real, you just have to add that extra level of effort. Just a bit of coordination and planning. It's awesome and it makes the adventure more real, gets you invested more immersed. And also it's great that they did it on location. The filming was delayed multiple times because they filmed it on location in Austria, because of the blizzards, the cold weather, avalanches, or threat of avalanches. And if that wasn't bad enough, Richard Burton was an alcoholic, would always drink multiple bottles of vodka each day. Apparently he was well known for his drinking binges, and he just disappeared for several days during the shoot. I think with actor Peter O'Toole and a few other people, so that caused even more delay.
Security.
Another notable thing about this trailer is there's lots of Nazi imagery, obviously. The only reason I bring that up is because in today's landscape, Hollywood has far less balls to show stuff like that. Because I remember seeing the trailer for Jojo Rabbit, and in that there's this huge text that says an anti-hate satire, just to make it clear to the audience that they don't support Nazis. They have such little faith in people, apparently. They have to spell it out. People still have to be told Nazis are bad.
An anti-hate satire.
Here's a weird fact for you. Darren Nesbitt, who played Von Hapen, the Gestapo officer in the film, he was dead set on it being as authentic as possible, so he requested to meet a former member of the Gestapo to better understand how to play the character. So I'm trying to imagine what happened. Did they just get this Nazi out of prison and wheel him onto set for a day? I mean, fair enough, that's everyone's got their process. There's a clip of one of the parachutists landing. For some reason my eyes are telling me that it's a dummy. It's the legs that are doing it, they just look out of proportion to the rest of the body. I might just be tripping because this film's praised for its real stunts. It's probably not a dummy, I don't want to slander the film, but it looks weird to me. It looks like a wooden dummy in a way, like, or a straw-filled dummy where it's like, because those legs are just too straight. I don't know. I do not know. There's some infrequent narration in this trailer. It pops up every now and then to announce the actors.
Clint Eastwood.
To announce the production company and the film, I think.
Where Eagles Dare.
You got this introduction scene with Richard Burton.
Major Johann Schmidt,
SS, military intelligence.
It gives off the atmosphere of your typical British spy films of that era. It's basically saying, hey, you're in for a bit of espionage, a bit of cool Richard Burton doing his thing. Because Richard Burton was, like, known for that sort of thing, I believe. Among other things, just being suave and well-spoken. I know exactly what's going to happen.
Allow me to introduce myself. Drop that gun and sit down.
So audiences of that time would have been like, oh yeah, Richard Burton, he's doing the smart thing again.
Major Johann Schmidt, SS, military intelligence, Stuttgart.
It's just a very weird cut, because you might not have even processed what happened there.
Stuttgart.
It is really funny, and then the Nazis groan as well when he gets shot. And it's like really abruptly cut. Again, selling you on Richard Burton going undercover and shooting a Nazi. That's something to be excited about. You might have also noticed the music's died down.
Hello?
Clint Eastwood.
I don't think that ever happens in modern trailers where there's just a whole middle section without music, because you have to think that people only saw these at the cinema. It's not like the production companies had to worry about people scrolling off it on the phone. So trailers could take their time a little bit more, they could be slow and quiet. But at the same time it does feel a little awkward because it's just dead quiet.
Richard Burton.
How the narrator introduces Richard Burton. There's just this brief moment of utter silence and then Burton says this.
Take your clothes off. Don't argue. Take your clothes off.
Out of the whole film, that is probably the worst scene they could have picked to play with that little context.
Don't argue.
Of course you could get away with it back then, but it's just the fact that it's nothing but Richard Burton telling this woman to take her clothes off twice. She's like, what? And he's like, no, take your clothes off. It's just, that's it. That's the clip. That's what's like, oh, you're in for Richard Burton, and then it just...
Take your clothes off. Don't argue. Take your clothes off.
Richard Burton. And that's it. That's what they go with. It feels like a clip that Frank Reynolds from Always Sunny would insert himself into. Like, that's what he thinks would make him seem attractive. Also, the fact that Burton in real life was this crazy alcoholic. Darren Nesbitt observed that Burton was drinking up to 4 bottles of vodka a day. There was a point where he got so pissed that he knocked himself out, and the stunt double had to quickly fill in for him. Then you just think of all that and accompanied with that clip.
Richard Burton. Take your clothes off. Don't argue. Take your clothes off.
That's 60s Hollywood's idea of your leading man. Of course, Clint Eastwood gets his announcement as well. And the lack of context also makes it funny in the fact that it's dead silent.
Hello?
Clint Eastwood.
And it's so blunt as well on what it's selling you on. Just utterly unapologetic. Watch Clint Eastwood kill a bunch of Nazis. Watch Richard Burton dominate a woman. This is what you're in for. This is what we're going to give you. At least it's fucking honest. I really like the clip itself though. Just how he pulls the silencer out is really cool. The sounds of the guns. And look at how the first guy dies. He just keels over in this pathetic whimper. Such an undignified groan. The extra was hungover that day. He was supposed to fall back off his chair, but he just went, ugh.
Now with McPherson dead, there's only 5 of us left. So you either let me know what's going on, or there's only going to be 4.
There's your typical cool, collected Clint Eastwood. Calm talking. Just get ready for more of Clint Eastwood being a badass, audiences.
From the company that brought you the Dirty Dozen.
From the company who gave you the Dirty Dozen, also very reassuring. Because what else could you want? I'm trying to use this trailer to sell you on the movie as well. And I think it's doing a very good job. Big, exhilarating set pieces.
Drop that gun.
What?
Drop that gun and sit down.
What the hell are you talking about?
That's also funny, like, what the hell are you doing? Again, it's comical because of the lack of context.
Drop that gun.
What? I'm just imagining Richard Burton going senile mid-mission and just fucking up the whole thing, doing random shit. What do you mean? I'm on your team! And here you go, fellas. There's your promise of explosives. Lots of explosives. Lots of explosions. I can tell you from having seen the film myself, it isn't bullshitting you. It lives up to what it's suggesting in this trailer. You get a final quick cut montage of different action set pieces, and the practicality of the action and stunts are made abundantly clear. You have good reason to have faith in this film. And obviously, World War II era guns are just so fucking cool. The way they look, the way they sound. Mwah! So, overall, how do we rate this trailer? I can confirm that it is an accurate representation of watching the film. It's an accurate snippet, an accurate teaser, little bite of the film. It brags this huge epic scale with all these explosions and shootouts. And from what you can see in this trailer, it seems like it'll be able to live up to all of that. Live up to the standard that it's boasting. It just makes the film look awesome Because it is awesome and I want to watch it again now. An awesome trailer for an awesome film. This is the third best trailer we have seen on this series. On the mighty trailer rank, it sits just below Alien, but quite considerably above the Forrest Gump trailer. Now, what does this trailer teach us? Well, it teaches us that no one was remotely concerned or worried about getting Me Too'd. I mean, we already knew that. 60s Hollywood was fucked up. I mean, Hollywood today's fucked up. I can't remember the details of their relationship, but I'm pretty sure that in the context of the movie, there'll be more consent at play. I hope so. There's a fine line between suave assertiveness and just outright being rapey. Your old James Bond films always played into that idea that women loved a domineering, insistent, suave male to seduce them. You see, that archetype does have a lot of truth to it, but there was no nuance in how it was conveyed in those films, in those old films. It would just always take it to the extreme and get very rapey very quickly. But anyway, that's what that specific scene tells us, the Richard Burton scene. 60s Hollywood liked to romanticise the domineering male mentality towards seducing women, but unfortunately to very rigid extremes. We also learn that Clint Eastwood was indeed a badass. We already knew that, but it's always good to be reminded. Because you think about it, Eastwood was at the top of his game at this point. In 64 he had Fistful of Dollars, 65 he had For a Few Dollars More, 66 The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, 68 Where Eagles Dare and Hang 'em High, and then in 71 Dirty Harry. So just fucking killing it at the time.
Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood.
Now, we've observed this from multiple old trailers, but the narration, it's there. It's old-fashioned and campy, and us millennials think it's really charming, but I reckon that people living at that time would have gotten sick of it. That's just a novelty, I'm not going to let nostalgia boner over that. I will say, very surprisingly, the quick cut montage at the end feels very modern, not dissimilar at all from the conventions of contemporary trailers. I suppose the quick cutting montage will always be with us. Forever. We learned that in general, action movies were just so much more hands-on back then, and just had a lot more going on in general. They had decent plots and strong performances, realistic action with actual weight behind it. However, the take-home message from this video is, you should all watch Where Eagles Dare if you haven't already. It's a badass film. The perfect kind of film to watch with a pizza on a Friday night in, when all of your friends have abandoned you, when you haven't been invited out, when you piss everyone off because you're a film snob, and you don't enjoy anything anymore. Your friends don't want to hang out with you.